Hey guys, and welcome to yet another Immortal Empires Showdown. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and today we're going to be showcasing the new and improved Archaon. Look how gigantic his steed is. It is crazy. They've roided up this bad boy, as well as all the other Chaos Cavalry, and it looks fantastic. Today I'm going to be taking on Indy Pride. He is in fact the one using Archaon and the new and improved Warriors of Chaos. I myself am going to be bringing my favourite Dino boys with a bit of a old school build that I used to like to bring up against Chaos. With some nice twists and turns. We have Kroxigor Ancient leading our battle charge. Gonna be a good fun showdown. Now, before I delve into this, much like I've said in my previous couple of videos, over the course of this first part of the week, as well as the weekend for this Immortal Empires Early Access, I'm gonna be dropping 2 videos a day, so make sure to subscribe to try to catch them where possible and check out the channel continuously. Anyway, let's get this underway. So before our forces up in the skies with a cheeky little skink chief. His main job is just to poke down the enemy. He's relatively cheap, coming in butt naked on his pterodon, can focus down enemy castles relatively effectively. For our main battle line is a mixture of red-crested skinks on the flanks alongside javelins, but then we've got some sarus spears in the middle. We do have 2 basic ones as well as some spearmen and some more red-crested skinks on the far side alongside the cohort of Sotek, the regiment of renown there. We do have the umbral tide, some of my favourite fire doggos in all the realms. They look fantastic. The evil red eyes, really they're kind-hearted souls, but we are going to be prodding them towards danger and battle. With a feral stegodon as well as a Arc of Sotek in the center, supported by the Kroxigor Ancient, who is looking straight swagging today. Look how brutal and legendary he is. And the reason I like the Kroxigor Ancient here is it allows you to go a little bit cheaper with your dinosaurs, because you can simply buff them up with the Horn of Kygor, increasing that melee attack, something they can tend to kind of struggle with over the course against other enemy single entities. We do have 1 lone unit of Chameleon Stalkers in the back, as well as a Skink Priest of Heavens coming in with Curse of Midnight Wind and Harmonic Convergence. As for my opponent, you can see he's gone relatively elite in the center. We have Chaos Warriors Great Weapons supporting some Chosen, who are just devastating Warriors of Legend, can seriously carve their way through the enemy pretty damn effectively. We have some Marauder Horsemen on the flanks, as you'd expect, and some basic Marauders in the front line. And in the back, we have the Skull Crushers of Khorne being led into battle by a Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and the straight awesome Archaon. Look how cool he is! I really can't get over the new mount options for the Warriors of Chaos. They look so good, and Archaon himself has been buffed. So he's got some new items and abilities. His Law of Magic switched up. He now has Death mixed in with the Fire Magic. Flaming Sword of Rune and Spirit Leech are going to be the poisons of choice. He also has Searing Dooms. He's kind of got the best of both worlds. He's coming with the Slayer of Kings as well as Fight or Die. He, of course, does have that immune to psychology. And I don't think he's coming with his added ability, so maybe we can't see that here. We have the Crown of Domination. I believe he has 1 new one, which maybe we'll go over in the end screen or something. But anyway, let's get this battle underway. And we are going to be advancing towards each other. It is in the great plan that we slay Chaos, and that's exactly what I intend to do. Umbral Tide are going to reveal themselves from their stalk position, open up fire onto the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, doing some really solid damage. Look at that chip damage coming down on him, and my opponent is going to be reorganizing his ranks, which is rather smart because I actually pushed up onto the right a little bit, looking to hammer home one flank of my opponent. But now we're mainly kind of face-to-face at the moment, as the Umbral Tide are going to be pulling back, trying to gauge where these Marauder Horsemen are going to be floating. The Skink Chiefs are going to be moving forward, looking to do a little bit of poke damage, as well as the Umbral Tide unleashing a few stray shots into the Marauders, just to let them know I know they're there. And we're going to be repositioned once again and advance. I really want to take on one flank of my opponent to stop his cavalry whipping around quite so easily here. And the Horsemen are being fended off by Red Cresteds, and we're going to be forcing my opponent to float around the other direction. Saurus do start to engage with the Great Weapons, a bit of a limp charge here, but there is so many on top of units here. We have the Red Crested Skinkies in the mix, and they're going to help out significantly trying to take down armored foes. Saurus are retreating back in this position to allow the feral stegodon to move up with the Kroxigor. They're going to be rolling as a trio today, looking to support each other where possible. Looks like it's actually javelins on this flank, which is a bit of a misplay by me. Definitely want the Red Crested Skinks in here instead. And we are going to be getting a Searing Doom striking it from the skies. We do attempt to dodge it there, but we're not able to get out of the way quick enough. And that's some pretty damn gnarly damage. The Skink are terror routed. We do have the Basilian Arc of Sotek floating over here, though. Sotek's poison coming down, doing some nice damage, trying to shore up this flank. The Skull Crushers are definitely going to be a problem for me in kind of the overarching scheme of the battle, I would think. Now, left-hand side's going much better for me. Saurus Warriors are devastating Marauders, as you'd expect. And now we have the Red-Crested Skinkies going toe-to-toe. Chosen. That's going to be a relatively okay, cost-effective trade of us with our AP. And now we're going to try to 2v1 them. Javelins are moving up into position, having launched their initial volleys. The Umbral Tide are poking down the enemy front line. Great Weapons weapons taking significant damage there as the Archaon and Kroxigor Ancient moves into combat. And on the far side, the spears as mixed in with the requisite skinks are actually holding back the enemy, particularly with that charge from the feral stegodon. We've also got javelins rotating around the flank, trying to get into a bit better positions where possible. In the middle here, Flameless Sword of Ruin does go down, imbuing the Chosen. They certainly need it. Again, rear attacked now as well by my forces. Cult of Sotek doing a good job up against the enemy great weapons. We, of course, can become immune to death for a short duration. Umbral Tide getting hunted down by Marauders. We're simply going to fall back to the trees and allow the Sarus Warriors to drag their way through Marauders, kicking and screaming. We can see one of the new animations there, the beautiful Spirit Leech. I must admit, I'm a big fan of the majority of the changes to the UI on a lot of those type of spells. Kroxigor Ancient, and as well as his homies, actually force off the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth and Archaon relatively effectively. I think my opponent was surprised by this, as we are able to push them back there. Archaon is having a whale of a time getting rid of the enemy infantry, and the weapons are actually struggling up against the spears due to the nearby support of the lizardmen forces. So we're winning the right-hand flank, and the left-hand side, which did go well initially, is starting to crumble a little bit. The Chosen are just real big problems for me right now, and the Chaos Warriors are getting taken down, but that is 80 Chosen still moving towards the battlefield. That's some scary stuff indeed. Now, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth is relatively healthy, as is Archaon the Ever-Chosen. Now, I'm making a bit of a mistake here. So the Skink Chief is focus firing down Archaon himself, but he's so heavily armored, it definitely would have been better to go after the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. I think we'd have got more value, though I believe this little boy does still do some decent work. Spirit Leech looks so cool now, sapping the strength from our hero there. Umbral Tide is unleashing shots into the Skull Crushers, just trying to fend them away where possible. And we still got all of our 3 dinos left quite healthy. Bounce power is pretty even at the moment. I'd say my opponent maybe has a slight advantage due to the power of Archaon. The Horsemen are being fended off, though, here by the Chameleon Stalkers as well as Red Crested Skinks. Definitely want to get them back to the main battle line where possible. Now I'm rotating my army once more. The Code of Sotek in their unbreakable state continue to fight on this left-hand side. Looks like they're going to mop up those Chaos Warriors who have Fight or Die popped on them. We might also be able to do some decent chip damage if we can pop that invulnerability to death. Would certainly be very nice indeed. There's some few scraggly units coming back into the action for myself, and my main job here is to protect the Umbral Tide, who are going to be my big damage dealers to try to take down the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. If we can get rid of that Shaggoth, we can definitely 3v1 Archaon. He'll put up a fight, but freezing entities versus 1, yeah, I definitely like those odds. Umbral Tide's going to be forcing back the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth once more. Chaos Warriors are indeed shattered, and the cohort of Sotek do remain in the back. We are trying to drag down some of the enemy skirmish cavalry. I just don't want those javelins coming in the late game, but it is looking a little bit worse for those skinkies who are being forced off now. In the distance, we have the Skull Crushers. They have crushed the skulls of the skink cohorts pretty damn effectively, and that's a scary unit to come back. It's very close stuff, though, going into the 6-minute mark here. We do start focusing down the Chosen now. Not an ideal target, of course, for Umbral Tide. We want to be going after those larger targets, but hey, any dead Chosen is good Chosen in my eyes. The Slann do demand the death of Chosen, and that's just what we're going to give them, and they do take some damage there, though nothing too crazy, as has come to us a bit of a lull in the battle here. The Skink Chief's going to be floating over as well, focusing down still Archaon the Ever-Chosen. That's not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, I definitely think I should have focused down this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth. We would have got so much more value over the course of the battle. Horsemen are being forced back by the Umbral Tide. I've started to form almost a defensive box style build here as we are reorganizing our ranks. I am trying to push forward to get some damage done on the Dragon Ogres. My opponent, though, rather wisely going to push his infantry in first and then try to pull in the single entities. I'm going to focus down the Chosen now. And again, it's damage at the end of the day. Doing some decent work there. The Archaon can also do really good work onto the Chosen if it needs to come down to it. Horsemen are overloading the flanks, though. We have Skull Crushers on the way back. We are trying to retreat back with the Umbral Tide. There's not that many places to hide, unfortunately, and I don't want to leave the Archaon isolated by this. He's a bit of a slow and ponderous creature. Desperately attempting to fall back, but in comes the Feral Stegodon, ramming into the flank of the Dragon Ogre. We do also have the Horn of Kroxigor going down here, as the Kroxigor Ancient comes down and Dirty Monster Strength has been popped on him, and the Feral Stegodon gives no damn. Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, you're nothing to me. Miasma's Despair goes down on the beastie, and we do some pretty damn big damage there from the Feral Stegodon, and now I turn to try to do good work onto Archaon and perhaps protect the back line, because I really want to keep the Umbral Tide alive. There is simply too many fast mobile elements for my opponent's build left active, and we are certainly struggling to take them down. The Chosen have been hit by a Curse of the Midnight. That's going to allow the Sarus Warriors to do some pretty decent damage. I quite like this color scheme as well for the Sarus. We are the kind of a sub-faction of Nakai almost, so in campaign he can vassal state factions, and this is the vassal state. Chosen doing some decent work, though. They are going to be dragging us down. It looks like the Skull Crushers were considering a rear attack onto my infantry. We do have the Cult of Sotek nearby. Their armor piercing is certainly going to be a welcome sight, and I am moving as a blob at the moment. And every time these big single entities come in, I am focusing them down with my own. Umbral Tide is being forced back here and chased away. That is devastating stuff for me. Yet another Spirit Lich is being brought, this time on the kroxigor Ancient, who looks so beautiful as a model as he trundles happily into the enemy battle lines. We do have a Skull Crusher returning. Looks like I can do a lovely downhill charge. We have just popped, though, the Poison of Sotek, which is going to be rather nice here. That is going to affect the Skull Crushers as well. And this blob fight isn't actually going as bad as maybe it seems, particularly if the Red Crusher Skinkies coming in here with a big single entity fight. And this is a problem. My units do rampage. So the Feral Stegodon is getting rear attacked from the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and there's not much I can do about it. He is doing the horrible, horrible attack animations where he turns around and just halves his own melee defense for no reason. And yeah, I absolutely despise those attack animations. They look very cool, but just maybe whilst they're doing those animations, don't give them the debuff to their melee defense, because it really can cost you games. Now, the Poseidon is still doing decent work. Archaon's taking quite a pounding. The kroxigor Ancient is attempting to juke it out, but I'm not able to really get the Feral Stegodon on the charge here. The Hornakigor has been popped. The Poseidon's doing a bit of a decent number. This is going to be a pivotal fight here in the middle. The Chosen are able to endure the sheer pressure. I had to take away the Ark of Sotek, and that's allowed the Chosen to survive and prosper. We do have the return of the Umbral Tide as well, and they're launching 360 no-scopes into the back, actually focusing down the Skull Crushers, trying to take them away. I want all that mass gone so I can focus down the enemy single entities, but alas, I have no wiggle room here and no units to actually peel off with, and the Skull Crushers will be able to take down the Umbral Tide. It seems that it has distracted my opponent, allowing the Feral Stegodon with Harmonic Convergence to go toe-to-toe with Archaon. Slayer of Kings is popped. We are not kings, we are gods amongst the mortals, and we're doing some pretty decent damage to Archaon now. Curse of Midnight Wind does go down on him, and it seems like the Code of Sotek, 3 models left, are holding back the Chosen, who are rampaging through our back lines. Balance power is slightly in our favor. Skink Chief is focused firing down the enemy where possible, and the Skull Crusher's getting driven away here by the single entities, but this is a disaster. The Ark of Sotek is retreating and fleeing to try to save its own skin. Not something I want to see. I really need his ever effect damage to clear off these horsemen in the late game, as well as the Chosen, currently getting buffed by the Flaming Sword of Rune, and the kroxigor Ancient's doing a decent job. Moisture Strength is popped on him. He's going to be going toe-to-toe with the Dragon Ogre, looking to drag him down. The Feral Stegodon, it does break last, though. The Skull Crusher's coming in with a big surround there, and it's all starting to crumble away, and I don't know if I've got enough left in the tank. We've done so much damage to the Dragon Ogre and Archaon, but we needed to kill one. And if we had the Skink Chief shooting this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, it would have been dead long, long ago. Yes, Archaon would have been more powerful, but perhaps we ourselves would have had some single entity power to kind of push them off. And it was a close game. Very well played to Indy Pride of Milk and Cookies. Has a fantastic YouTube channel. If you're watching my YouTube channel, there's almost zero chance you haven't heard of Milk and Cookies before, but just if you haven't, I played a load of games with him. He was actually in my last video as well as my teammate, but this time he betrayed me and came against me, and there's no way I can win this. It's only going to be Archaon left, as well as this Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, and I'm going toe-to-toe with him with the Poseidon, looking to drag down the beastie, but Archaon's a little bit too tanky in at the end there, and it was certainly a good, fun, awesome game. Well played to Milk and Cookies once again, or Indy Pride I should call him, of Milk and Cookies. Once again, definitely go check out his YouTube channel. Really talented dude, and this is going to be the first of 2 replays and videos uploaded today, so make sure to subscribe, like, and comment if you want to see more content like this into the future, and keep an eye out for the over definitely the next couple of days. I'm going to be dropping so much content, it's going to be crazy. Let me know down below on what you would like to see in the future. My next couple of days worth of replays have already been done, but after that I can start showcasing stuff you guys want to highlight in the comment section. So if there's anything in particular you really want to see, let me know down below. Kroxigor Ancient, it was an absolute chad. Only 867 value, which he felt like he did so much more, but I guess he was supporting the Feral Stegodon, who got 1.4k value and 1.2 on the Bastillodon. Hunting Pack did good as well, 1.5. Wasn't quite able to protect it enough, and it's going to be quite hard to do. Skink Chief paid for himself, but yeah, I think if we had actually made that decision to focus down the Shaggoth, we may have well won it, because he'd have been dead before the final blob fights, and then the Ever-Chosen has a lot less wiggle room. He's certainly been buffed. I think he's a very good character now. He was already pretty good, but new attack animations, new horse, new law of magic. He's also got a new ability as well, or item, I can't remember which way around it is. He is certainly going to be a gnarly boyo. 2.8k value on him. Skull Crushers 1.4, just shy of 1.9 by the Chosen. They were also secret MVPs. Dragon did good. I mean, 1.3k value was relatively fended off by the cheaper feral stegodons, who I think are just absolute cream of the crops. There's a load of links down below, by the way, to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Discord is where you can submit replays. So, of course, at the moment, all of my content into the foreseeable future is going to be Immortal Empires based. There's also a load of links to Patreon, that kind of stuff, where you can help support the channel financially. Massive shout out to all my patrons, as well as the glorious YouTube members, both who are keeping the channel afloat at the moment and keep me going with this glorious content. So until next time, guys, peace, and as always, stay awesome.